Hello and welcome, and it is that of Sunday, April 22, Crypto Day, and I want to bring up code District 0x, that of DNT, priced against Bitcoin, in at 1,206 Satoshi. Do you think I sold on the way up, or do you think I bought? I was able to even sell this peak, actually. Yes, I sold on the way up, and I bought a bit more on the way down. 2 buys on the way down. I was able to sell some up here, and I bought it back already. So either this thing is going to break out, go higher, I'll be ready to sell if it does. Or it's going to go lower, and I'll be looking to buy some more. Because right now, on the 5-minute time frame for this code, it's having another test of this support, which it had originally at 18:20 Sunday night. Then again, 1 hour later at 6:20 p.m., then 7:20 p.m. Then at 7:55 it left that move. It might be a failed breakout, and if that's the case, then maybe this will head lower. Who knows? Let's take a gander at multiple time frames, because it was just chopping around on the 3 hours, still well above its 18 average. In the daily time frame, you'd have to think the same, and yeah, but it's got a nice little trend where we've been with the 18 average making some higher highs and higher lows along the way. I got into this on February the 28th. Right down in here. I felt it was down a lot, and it's below the 18 average. Heck, I know it's a little bit below this fib, but heck, if you quote unquote try to pick the bottom, you can miss and still win. My buy average is much lower than such. I've calculated that today. It's about 470. Because I've made about 60 trades overall, buying low, selling high. Let's show you a chart of my buys and sells since the entry point on February the 28th. And the blue represents where the buys come in, and the orange represents the sales. So you come in, you buy, price goes up a bit. First one, this is a case where it took 2 orders to fill one. So I bought, like, whenever I wanted to sell, the person with the order had a smaller amount, so I had to put another order in. So I'd sell some, and then it goes up again some more, and then you sell down a bit, up a bit, down a bit, up a bit. Actually, I had the first one, situation where I probably undersold, and then I needed to sell some more, because every single time I'm selling to get this portfolio to where it should be. Now, after it left 1200, this was a situation where several buys in a row down to 7, but then the market goes back up again. Little small dip here, and then a decent gain. 4 buys in a row, 1 sell, 2 buys in a row, 1 sell, 2 buys in a row, 1 sell, 1 buy. 2 sells in a row, 1 buy, 1 sell, 1 buy, 1 sell. Now this is 2 buys, but the second buy occurred because of the fact that the portfolio that I had was it was underperforming. So it was barely going higher when the rest of the crypto market was doing better than such. So that's why I bought there. And there is 5 sellers in a row, 2 buys, 1 sell, and then 1 buyback. See, when playing this, I don't know, nor do I care if the next one will be lower with a blue dot or that of higher with an orange diamond. Now, of course, if there is situations where, say for example, the altcoins outside of this go way higher, yet this ends up going up, like a small amount, like I showed before, I'm going to be buying at a spot which higher than I say bought or sold before. Reverse can be true for when you're selling. Say, for example, every other market's going down really hard, but not this one as hard. Then it might be a spot where I would have to sell, as I have dozens of codes. And when I see the ones of my top performers, which I noticed all day today with this one, I'm going to sell them when prices get too high and buy it when it's cheap. Basically, I got like, maybe there's 60 codes, and I'm going to look to see which ones are worth the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't look at the bottom few, and I don't even need to see the ones in the middle. And of course, sell the ones near the top. So if, and that's of course based on how many Bitcoins that they are worth. And if you want to talk about spreadsheets, here's an interesting way of looking at it. And let's assume you started with 1 Bitcoin. So we'll say portfolio. And we'll put in 1. And just because I can do it, I'm going to put format cells into 2 decimals. So now what we're going to want to do is say we're playing multiple different codes. Now Bitcoin, let's just assume you're thinking, I want to have 20% of my portfolio to be that of Bitcoin. So I would technically be buying 0.8 worth of my Bitcoin into altcoins. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to equals 0.2 and then multiply it by this formula here, which will give me 0.2. Now let's just assume Litecoin is another one you want, and you also want to have the same amount of Litecoin as you do Bitcoin. So we'll do the exact same formula again. 0.2 multiply this. And then now we have, and let's just assume that we have a few others, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, E, H, I. They're your other top 3 codes. So, or even do, 3. So they're worth, say, 5% of a Bitcoin each. So what we're going to do is we're going to go 0.05 multiply this number here. And of course, we're always going to get these numbers when we do it. So therefore, you would have 0.55 and I'm just going to add another one in there too. So you have 4 of them. So that's 0.6. Now you have 0.4 left. Let's just say you're putting 0.02 on the remainder. That's like 20 others. We'll do the same thing, equals 0.02 multiply this number here again. All right, so now some time goes on, and say your portfolio goes up, and the exchange tells you that it's worth 1.11. Well, now you want to make sure that your portfolio would have about 22.2% of a Bitcoin, 22.2% of a Litecoin. Each of your other next level top coins would be worth about 5.55%, and then 2 2/9% of a Bitcoin on the 20 others. Now, of course, they're going to be a little bit higher. So when you see that your top gainer here might be worth, say, 0.0275, then you're going to want to sell that down to bring it lower, and your biggest loser of the 20 might be at 0.0185. And you could, of course, buy that up. Now, what you can do within this is, let's assume that you are you're on a site like Bittrex, Bitfinex, or any site, and you're looking to make an order, maybe buy or sell. So what you would do is you would go in there, and what I would do anyway, say if I'm looking to buy or sell, it doesn't matter. I'm going to put my value of how many of that code I own within the amount for buy or sell. I will not be buying or selling that number, but I'll put it in that number, have the desired price that I'm looking for the buy or the sell. And then what it will tell me is how much it will cost or how much I will receive on the transaction. So let's just assume in a sell here, it says I would get 5, 7, 9, and a bunch of other numbers. So what I can do in a formula here is have it equal to, say, this number, subtract this number. So now what I need is 242,000. That's how much I will want to sell. So I could copy this, or I don't copy it, I would write it down. But I would put the sale in and put the amount in, decimal 00024215, then make the trade. And then, of course, if it's a buy time, say it's 512. Yes, it does say negatives, but you can ignore that, or you could have two different lines. I can see that the buy would be 004244. So that's one way I can determine for how much that I want to sell. Now, the interesting thing about having Bitcoin on here, because what I was noticing within these markets is that when they all go up or they all go down together, then that's kind of not cool, in the sense that if I allocate a percentage of my bankroll towards that of just Bitcoin, that means when all the markets go up, I'm going to be forced to sell altcoins to ensure that that Bitcoin number goes higher. And then when the markets go lower, I'm going to see that, well, for example, let's go to this example again. Let's just assume that the price action of your bankroll goes to 0.982. Now, if I started with 0.2, now it needs to be worth less. So I would need to technically buy stuff up to bring my number lower to a desired point. Even if you started at 1 and it has a decent size decline, say 8%, I would have 0.016 of a Bitcoin I would have available to buy stuff with. And the numbers are always going to work out as long as your averages are correct. And in this case, they most certainly are in this example. So that is how I like to do it. And then it's just one trading mechanism that you can use that you're really just trading the math game. And you get situations of technical analysis if you determine that a particular price level is more likely to hit. Then you might want to wait to buy at a certain sell, or even hurry in a buy or a sell, depending on what the situation for that time frame reads. But I do like the fact that it's a lot easier just to be ready for the market to do what it has to do next. And in this case, well, I'm going to wait and see. Like I stated in the intro, this thing could be having a successful correct move and go back higher, and I'll be ready to sell. But I realize markets go up, then down, up and down. Some up moves are bigger than others, which again is the reason why I had phenomenal amounts of different buys and sell orders during, of course, this run. And when it was going down from March the 4th through March the 18th, all I was doing was buying in here. Every time it went down a bit, oh, time to buy, time to buy, time to buy. And then this move in here happened, and it was like, sweet, I was getting sells in, and I'll just wait. Whenever it's ready to go, if I own it, and I own several dozens of these codes, then I'm going to be ready to go. Now, some of the ones, like Ethereum Classic, I've hardly traded at all. Maybe 3 trades in the last 3 weeks. For 4 trades, I've hardly done anything on that one because it's not moving too much. But when it's ready to, it will. I mean, Dash is doing pretty good. I'm getting a lot of sells in that recently. As we can see, look at the up moves. Correctionary move back here on this 400-minute time frame. Buyback time, and now it's sell again. On the single hour time frame, there's the nice little up moves, and I've been able to buy what I sold up here back already. And with Dash, because this is amongst my second largest alternate coin, Litecoin is my number 1, and then Dash is in there at number 2, tied with a Komodo. And that's interesting with Komodo because I bought that a long time ago, expecting that to go up like months ago. So I just kept holding it, trading it along the way. And I'm just patiently holding it, waiting for it to have its play. I can put that chart up now on the screen as well. It's doing okay. It's going up with some small up and down choppy movements along the way. Yeah, so this is its daily time frame. So when it's ready to go, it's just going to have its phenomenal gains. And I don't want to be in here trying to time, okay, so when was it known that this move before in December was going to happen? Was it because of news of everything together that you knew the whole space was going to go? Okay, maybe. Was there something about this bottom in here and some sort of time? Because to me, there's nothing here to determine that big buyers are going to come in and just blast off a market, which they did in this case. This is a spot where I see like 5 green or 6 green candles, with the biggest ones coming in the final 3, especially the second and third last ones. But the price going from 22 handle up to 88 handle, that's a 4x gain in like under 100 hours. That's the type of stuff that I am ready to deal with. And I know, and I see stuff like DNT, oh, it goes up like 80%. Well, is it going to do a 400, 600, 1,000, 2,000% gain? Or is it going to have a 50% gain, 100% gain? Is this going to be a failed move? I don't know, but I do know that they moves, when they're ready to have these big plays, are going to happen. So thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.